ladies and gentlemen, welcome from the good. We are Cosmere and the good.
Today we decided to give a little insight on what we went through when we were creating Melor Famigal, and particularly to pinpoint the mistakes that you don't have to repeat after us. Number one. Well, the obvious one is the lighting. It's important to have more than one source of light. And if you want to have just one source of light, you have to be very careful. And we weren't very careful, so you can see that my face on this shot when we are in the spaceship, or that's what we call it, in the spaceship where there is me in front doing the singing and there is Michael managing the machine. My face is completely white. It's a red light, but it's focused entirely on my face. So white face probably can be used in some interesting way, I think, but this wasn't it. This wasn't it. So yeah, the lightning is certainly the one, so the obvious one.
Number two.
Well, the language probably. It's not certainly a mistake, since we choose to speak in English, although we are Czech and we are broadcasting to Czech audience. So it doesn't really make much sense to speak and sing in English. But man, we decided to do that because we just love the language. We love the language, and also it kind of makes things open if you would like to go to some international gig, or you just like to do a project in different country. The doors are open. So yeah, that's why we decided. And also we have a lot of English speaking friends that don't speak Czech, so we wanted to make the stuff for them as well. So yeah, it's a mistake if you look at it just like how many views can you get or how successful can you be in a short period of time. You should probably go for the language that the listeners are native in, right? But fuck that, man. We made a decision and we are going to stick with it. And maybe we will even practice our pronunciation in the process. 3. Well, another mistake that actually I made because I was the one setting the phone that was doing the recording, and I was shooting a scene in 24 frames per second, which is like usually good because it doesn't take as much storage as like 60 frames per second would, so it's much easier to edit it, and you don't actually need more than 24 frames per second for like a cinematic view. But when you shoot something in 24 and then you do slow motion, which we certainly did, then it's just sketching. When we're dancing in the back corner, which is like the more photogenic corner of the studio, you can see that its frame rate is really terrible. So if you're not sure if you're going to use slow motion, be sure to record it in 60 FPS if you can. And if you know that it won't be slow motion, fuck it, 24 is alright.
Number 4.
Another mistake, and that's a really childish one, was that I shot it in 4K. The phone was in 4K. It's like, yeah, the most cinematic footage. But good luck editing that stuff, and good luck even getting it into your computer. I have a phone with a lot of memory, so that's cool, but then you have to transfer it and then you have to like edit in it, and that just doesn't work. So when confronted with a choice whether to reshoot it completely in 2K or like HD or somehow convert it, I went for the conversion straight away. Yeah, so you can see the the resolution of the video was really shit. That's because I converted it with some tool from 4K to 2K, and it doesn't look like 2K. And also it may be just for the fact that camera phones are not really good with light, with conditions without light. And that's exactly what we went for. condition where there is only one light, and that's the light that's shooting blue at me a lot of time, and no other source, very dark, very atmospheric, so that's why we went for it, because it was fun. But it's hard to do a good footage with just a phone. Basically, the bigger the lens, the more light it can catch. So since phone has like this small lens, there's not a lot of light coming through. Jenom rozloučení. Bye! Bye!